Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our viewers and listeners out there in the digital space. My name is Justin Pasco, and this is the Pasco Hour. Today, I want to talk about a couple different things. Yesterday was Memorial Day, and I have some feelings on Memorial Day that I'd like to talk about. I wanted to talk about gratitude, and I also wanted to talk about how I am navigating missing someone that isn't emotionally available. So, to be very straight up with everyone, I get confused between Memorial Day. Well, Veterans Day is pretty obvious, but there's several holidays that I feel like have a name and at one point in time meant something. And so when Memorial Day comes around, I'm not sure what the exact meaning for the day is. And so I looked it up, Googled Memorial Day, and I went with History Channel's explanation or description. History. Oh gosh, this is embarrassing. Anyway, the history of Memorial Day. So I'm going to read it off of the History Channel's website. Hopefully you didn't hear that. That was an auto play video. The birthplace of Memorial Day and early observances. So we start with the Civil War. The Civil War, which ended in the spring of 1865, claimed more lives than any conflict in U.S. history and required the establishment of the country's first national cemeteries. It's very interesting. By the late 1860s, Americans in various towns and cities had begun holding springtime tributes to these countless fallen soldiers, decorating their graves with flowers and reciting prayers. Lovely. It is unclear where exactly this tradition originated. Numerous different communities may have independently initiated the memorial gatherings, and some records show that one of the earliest Memorial Day commemorations was organized by a group of formerly enslaved people in Charleston, South Carolina, less than a month after the Confederacy surrendered in 1865. Those are my kind of fucking people. Pardon me. Those are my kind of people. Nevertheless, in 1966, the federal government declared Waterloo, New York, the official birthplace of Memorial Day. All right, Thomas Edison, you weren't the only one. Waterloo, which first celebrated the day on May 5th, 1866, was chosen because it hosted an annual community wide event during which businesses closed and residents decorated the graves of soldiers with flowers and flags. Very nice. I think that's wonderful. I don't know why Waterloo gets it, but why not? You know? I mean, we got to give some credit to other parts of New York that aren't the city. All right. So, Decoration Day. On May 5th, 1868, General John A. Logan, leader of an organization for Northern Civil War veterans, called for a nationwide day of remembrance later that month. The 30th of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land, he proclaimed. Wow, that's heavy. Decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land, he proclaimed. It's a lot of death, a lot of bodies. The date of Decoration Day, as he called it, was chosen because it wasn't the anniversary of any particular battle. On the first Decoration Day, General James Garfield made a speech at Arlington National Cemetery, and 5,000 participants decorated the graves of the 20,000 Civil War soldiers buried there. So I think we get a pretty good idea of what Memorial Day is in remembrance of, and I think that we just choose to carry that forward unspeakingly to ideally use the day as a day of tribute, or part of the day as a part of, tribute towards the soldiers that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. I have not. I do not have any military experience. Probably one of the few things that I'll regret, like for the rest of my life. But hey, I was young. I was stupid. I took the ASVAB and I scored incredibly poorly. So I don't even think I could have gotten in, or maybe I weighed too much at the time. So love our veterans, love our service people, and yeah, I have a I have a very personal, strange personal relationship with how I feel about the military. Um, always wanted to join. Always wanted to, you know, serve my country. Um, I wanted to experience war. I wanted to experience battle. I wanted to experience the camaraderie of brotherhood that only soldiers in battle experience. Um, and yeah, but you know, everything happens or doesn't happen for a reason. I don't know. Didn't take advantage of the opportunity when I had the time. So anyway, the reason that I brought this up, the reason that I wanted to talk about this is, like I said, it doesn't. I don't feel like enough people, enough people understand the reasons for these holidays. Right? We have Memorial Day and Veterans Day and Labor Day, and there's. I feel like we have a good amount of holidays that recognize the middle person. Not a President's Day. It's not a Christmas. It's not this big thing where everything stops. It's just another day, really. And what what we get flooded with are sales. So it's this day that has deep historical value to our country, our culture, um, and who we are as a people. But what gets talked about, or what we're flooded with on these days, or where has the biggest sale, where am I going to get the cheapest new refrigerator, lawnmower, and don't get me wrong, I take advantage of it sometimes myself, but I feel like it's more important for us to have an understanding of what that day is for, and maybe reach out to our friends and loved ones that were veterans. And I don't know what the appropriate thing to say is, and it's not thank you for your service, in my opinion. Maybe there are some people out there like that, but I've talked with enough veterans to understand that from their perspectives, I'm not saying everybody's like this, but from their perspectives, that saying, thank you for your service can feel very alienating for them. It can feel, why am I still here when my best friend died and he was a better person than me? I've heard these things. Um, I've, you know, what do you call it? Not like an aftershock, but like a, I don't want to call it a PTSD episode, but I've been with a friend on just on a day, and somebody was lit off some fireworks, and his response was very like, I mean, he was still enrolled, and I think he had come back from tour within the past year. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on. This is not my this is not, I don't have a lot of weight in this situation, but I do have a lot of compassion, empathy, and respect for the servicemen and women and the veterans that have chosen to join the military and serve our country, and allow us to live. Us as regular civilians, allow us to live a pretty comfortable existence. Um, and I'm not trying to get political. We can get deeper later on a different episode, but I the point of all this is that Memorial Day is about something that's far greater than any kind of sale that's going on. It's far greater than any kind of savings. that can be applied towards something that we want to buy. And for me, I think that if I spend a few minutes on a holiday like that, or any regular day, but especially a holiday like that, and I reach out to a couple of friends just to see if there's a different angle I can take, that's not, hey, thank you for your service, or hey, I'm sure you're having a hard time. Maybe just, hey, if you need a an ear and a closed mouth, someone to just listen to you about anything that you're feeling, I can do that. I can be that kind of person. So, and that leads me into the next thing I want to talk about, which is gratitude. And you ask, Justin, how in the heck do you make the jump from talking about misrepresenting Memorial Day as a sale holiday to gratitude? Well, the last thing that I talked about was having being a good friend that can listen to when someone's going through a tough time, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the people that I have in my life that I can lean on, and I'm not the type of person that's tough and I'll figure it all out. I mean, I am. I'm whatever. I'm all types of people, but I've learned that life is better when you share it with other people, and that's in the good and in the challenging. It's in the successes and in the I don't know how to get through this. I don't know what I'm doing. Um, and so what for people that don't know or practice, what is gratitude? Gratitude, bear with me, I'm going to look up the definition. Of course, I have to look up gratitude definition because there's all kinds of like yoga studios and self-help stuff. Gratitude, the state of being grateful. Thankfulness, the state of being grateful, warm and friendly feeling toward a benefactor, kindness awakened by a favor received, thankfulness. So we'll go with the state of being grateful, but what does grateful mean? Appreciative of benefits received, thankful. I'm grateful for your help. Appreciative of benefits received. Huh. So I think I mentioned last episode that I was in a 12-step program for most of my 20s. Well, all of my 20s. No, whatever. Long time. And I don't ever really remember breaking down the word into a definition, which is something that I've picked up the practice of. But it was presented to me that gratitude is an action word, as in, I'm not grateful if I sit here and say, "Oh, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for cooking dinner. I'm so grateful." And then I just, leave the room and do my own thing. Showing gratitude would be like, "Oh, I'm grateful that this person cooked dinner, so I'm going to do the dishes or, whatever, help them clean up and all that. I'm grateful that I mean, today I was looking at a plant at my softa's house, and I thought it was lavender, but I guess I'm wrong. Regardless, it smelled really nice, and I plucked one of the leaves because you can rub the leaves and get the oil on your fingers and smell it. But then I was appreciating the leaf itself, just the characteristics of it, and to me, it's like that is a moment of gratitude for nature, right? I'm not just walking by, and, oh yeah, they look pretty, like I, when I hear the term "stop and smell the roses," it's not just about stopping and smelling the roses. It's about several things. One, slow down. You have to slow down enough to stop. So we have to, get some patience because everybody's rushing through life. Whatever. I'm rushing through life. I'm not going to talk about you. I'm rushing through life. Busy doing 100 things, got places to go, people to see. But when I slow down enough and I stop to smell the roses, I also am still for a moment to appreciate what the roses look like, to appreciate what the thorns look like, and how the bush is constructed. And I don't need to be afraid of the thorns, right? Because I know it's a whole system. And I get to be grateful that it's there, that it exists, that I have senses to smell, to see it. I mean, hell, to see even color, right? I can touch it if I want to. Um, and so the point that I'm making is that when I really slow down and pay attention to life, and this has become a habit or a practice for several years, so many things have built up that when I do slow down, there's just so many different things that I can count. I mean, I wake up and I'm grateful for the bed that I slept in. I'm grateful for the fact that I woke up today, at least. I mean, not every day is the same, but I'm grateful that I woke up today. I'm just going to go off of a quick little list. I'm grateful that I have the option of hot or cold water at the tap, at any tap in my house, at sink, whatever you want to call it. I'm grateful that I have a bidet. I'm grateful that I have a coffee maker and I have coffee creamer. There's a roof over my head and it doesn't leak when it rains. I mean, and whatever, and everybody's situation is different, but there's a lot of stuff that we can all relate to, that we just have, just stuff that we have, right? That we don't even need, but it makes our lives easier. A lot of stuff to be grateful for. I'm kind of just rambling, but that's okay. That's what I do. That is what I do. So, believe it or not, there's actually some science that shows that when you practice gratitude, it releases feel good chemicals in your brain. I don't know what they are. Find a therapist or, you know, Google it. Maybe I'll Google it next time. Next time. So, anyway, practice gratitude. Find a couple things when my favorite time to do it, honestly, is when I'm really frustrated and I take a step away from something and I stop and smell the roses. But it's true. You walk away and you go, hey, you know what? This thing isn't that bad. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I get to learn something new. And sometimes I get really pissed off at myself. And then later on, I'll end up laughing at that version of myself that got, really upset. And I'm just glad to be alive. It's an experience, good, bad, and different. It doesn't matter. I don't think life ever took a, metaphorically, if life was an enormous giant of some sort and the world was like a marble, and we were just not even. So, life giant takes a microscope and, like, what, zooms in on me and says, like, oh, I'm going to give you like bad stuff to deal with. Like, no, that's just not real. If you cut down a tree, the tree doesn't cry about it, it just starts to die. I don't even know what that means, but it's a deep life metaphor for sure. So, practice gratitude, y'all, and I'll keep practicing gratitude. And right now, I'm just grateful to be alive. I got to take my I woke up somehow at like 4 a.m. and I was like, this is great. I will go to the gym at 5 when they open. I came home. I got to have breakfast with my 4-year old, get her ready for school, take her, which is something I usually don't do. My wife does. Um, and I'm grateful for it. I usually I spend a lot of time with a 4-year old in the afternoons, and she's temperamental, tired, hungry. We don't really know. She doesn't talk about her feelings yet. We're not that old. We're not old enough. We're learning. It's cool. And I'm grateful for all of it. But this morning it was a nice, quiet ride on the way to school. And she just looked longingly out the window. There's mellow music playing. So it was like one of those perfect moments. It's good to be a dad. Anyway, last thing I wanted to talk about is how I'm navigating missing someone that isn't emotionally available. And it's hard one to talk about. Partly because I think I have not imposter syndrome. What's that thing where you have a Stockholm syndrome? Yeah, partially because I believe I have Stockholm syndrome. When I separate myself enough, then I absolutely do. But there's a person that um well, yeah, we I I will figuratively be tied to them for my entire life. So will my children, indirectly so would my wife, I guess. And me and this person don't talk, which it's been a several year process of going back and forth with, and me trying to study myself to see if there are things that I could change to be more approachable in this relationship. And I believe I've done everything that I can without putting myself in a position that would cause more harm or at least have a negative impact. Um, I mean, in short, I just don't want to deal with someone's BS. I believe I don't bring BS into my friends' lives. I'm a solutions oriented person. No, I don't always have the solution, but I am open to it. Absolutely. And there might be moments where I'm not, but I know that I come back around, and I do. I enjoy growth. I enjoy that challenge in life. And I can't say for certain, but I can't say for certain because I don't, it is not my place in life to tell other people who they are and who they are not. And so I don't know if this other person wants to grow and meet me somewhere. Not physically, right? But meet me in the middle, meet me 30% of the way, I come 70, whatever it is. It's hard to talk about because I don't want to be specific, and I know that leaves it to me being vague, but I'll try to explain it better. So I was once given a piece of advice to only bring that person the good in my life, right? Don't seek advice from them, don't seek help, don't tell them about your struggles, just tell them the good news about your life. The wins, if you will, the new job or the promotions, the how the kid's doing, how the wife's doing, and that's it. And to be fair, that is perfectly enough for a relationship. Keep it positive, um, keep it short if you have to, and that's it. Do another check in next week, 2 weeks from now, whatever it might be. And I practiced that, and I found that even though my perspective is that even though that was my practice, this person still wanted me to pull. This person still wanted to pull me into their negativity, their view on life, which involves a lot of not commotional stuff, but a lot of hot topics. And I'm I'm one for politics, but I'm not one for politics. I pick and choose with who I want to talk about politics, current events. I mean, it's not just whatever's going on in the White House. Um, so yeah, so I don't bring that up to them, but they love talking about the world's problems and how it all could be solved in a few simple ways, and how people that fall into ABC categories are the problem, and I just don't see it that way. Um, so we don't, me and this person don't see eye to eye, in in most things, and so I guess the simple truth is that you just don't have a relationship with this person. But what happens when it's the one of the few people that you long for, your soul longs for them, and not in like a this person was, it's a family member. So it was never like that, that, whatever, lover. It was a family member. And the reason that I bring this up is because a song came on. I was on the way home and a song came on, and I thought, damn, I really wish that I could sit with that person just for the length of the song, looking at some piece of nature. And then that would be it. I would get up, I would give that person a hug, and I would, have a great day. I'll see you next time. And I don't, the thing is, my brain is like, oh yeah, if you had this, you'd be happy. If you give a mouse a cookie, and it's with everything, and I believe that there's a school of thought that refers to this. I call it a spirituality. They call it a spirituality. So it's like when I tell myself, oh, if you get this thing, I got a gaming PC. It's not made me happy, but I was convinced that it would. I was convinced before that it would be something. It's always something else until I return to myself and I go, those things aren't going to make you happy. What you're looking for is meaning. What you're looking for is connection, to be a part of community or something. And so when I invest in those things, I'm better equipped when that thought comes of you should call that person, or you really miss that person, and if you had it this way, it would work out. Because it wouldn't. Because I would get the cookie and then I would want a glass of milk. I would sit there during that song and I would ask a question because my curiosity would, you know, I like asking questions, and then maybe for 5 minutes, 7, 10 minutes, it would go well. But maybe for 30 seconds it would go well, and then bam, it would be that person's negativity. Or the gaming PC. It was, I don't even know what I'm doing. Luckily I can record and, play some games and use the internet and stuff, but what a learning curve. Welcome to life. Welcome to life. Anyway, that's about everything I have to say. I appreciate everyone who listened to the first podcast. I really do. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. Um, and I'm trying to connect with everybody that listened. I feel that if you gave me a part of your time, I would like to give you a part of mine. And at this level, I mean, anybody who's listened, I probably had a great relationship with, or a close relationship with at some point. So it would just be reconnecting. Happy Tuesday, if it's Tuesday. If not, happy day, whatever day it is for you. My name is Justin Pasco. This is the Pasco Hour, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.